It's all about peace, spreading love in the world. So I gotta represent rebels for joy, positivity. You know that we're all about it. Magic happens when you align your purpose, passion, and power. Just believe in your greatness. I know for sure the light that you radiate too strong to ignore. Emotional revolution. It's time that we start. Love, we need more. We are rebels for joy. Woo!
Hey, sister, welcome to the Rebels for Joy podcast, where we are aligning your purpose, passion, and power, all fueled by joy. I am one of your hosts, Bonnie Kelly, and I'm here with my girl, Jillian.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
So excited today to just be present, especially to kick off this episode, because as you guys know, if you've been listening for a while, is that we kickstart each episode with a joke. And today's joke is really just for my co-host here, Jillian, because if you don't know, she loves Cinderella.
I love Cinderella. That was actually one of the very first things we talked about, like way back in the day in our one solo conversation before a year later we fell in love and created this movement. We talked about Cinderella, and I love it so much.
Yes. So here it is, Jillian. Why is Cinderella bad at soccer?
I don't know. Why?
Because she's always running away from the ball.
Well, yeah, the clock struck midnight. She had to run away from the ball. That's hilarious because soccer was my first love, actually. Like, I played soccer all the way through college. So that is like Jillian to the T. Thank you for that.
I knew you played soccer too, but I figured I'd let you share that. So it was amazing. When I saw that, I just laughed. So hopefully you guys got a smile out of that as well. That's the purpose of these corny, sometimes ridiculous jokes and puns and just really bad stories that we will share in the beginning. The goal is just to infect you with joy. And so hopefully we just got you to smile.
And let's make a plug too for our intro, Bonnie, because we haven't talked about it actually in any of the previous podcasts, but we went a little bit out of the box with our intro. We have our amazing friend, rapper extraordinaire, who is creating all sorts of goodies for us. So if you are not on our Rebels for Joy email list, please go to rebelsforjoy.com, sign up for the Triple Your Joy Challenge, because you'll get a free challenge out of it, but you'll also get added to the mailing list. And this is the place that we first and foremost share all the things. And so we have some really awesome raps that we want to just infect your life with. And Bonnie and I talked about this, like, we can just imagine ourselves and our fellow rebels being in their car with their kids, listening to like this amazing 30-second rap and having it be all about joy and empowerment and purpose, passion, and power, and like literally letting that be the thing that connects you with your children, you with your girlfriends. Like, it feels so delicious. So hands up and like hats off to our show.
If you guys are listening to this when it launched in 2020, in February of 2020, what we've committed to with our hip hop rap star friend is that we want his name's Burton, by the way. He's just amazing. And he is going to deliver us a new self-affirming hip hop song every single month. So this month we just released it, which is Worthiness. It's 30-second, self-affirming, all about your self-worth, about you being worthy of love and acceptance, and that it just affirms it in such a creative way. And so by the end of the year, our goal is to have an entire hip hop album for you to jam out to with hopefully your kids think it's cool. Like, that was really one of the motivators, right? Because my niece is 9, and when I'm just doing affirmations to like the traditional format, where it's like, I am worthy, and that silence and that peace, my niece is just like, Auntie's kind of being cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over there, right? And so what I wanted to do is create something that she, who loves like, not hip hop, but she likes like kid bop stuff, right? That she would want to sing. And so I introduced her just the other day to our Rebels for Joy intro. And she's like, oh, what is that, Auntie? And she was like dancing to it. And I'm like, yep, mission accomplished.
Yeah, totally. Right. Like, hi, we are here for the ripple effect to consciously create empowered, amazing women all throughout the world. And it starts with just little things. So we hope that this has actually given you some creative sparks as to maybe how you can call joy into your life a little bit differently. Maybe it's through a corny joke. Maybe it's through a little fun hip hop song, but you literally can find joy anywhere. So, And that is actually a beautiful segue into our topic of conversation today, BK. Should I dive in?
Yeah, just go for it.
All right. So, friends listening, how would it feel to you to rock your life even when it sucks? Right? Because, like, let's be honest, life feels really hard sometimes. And we feel like we can get down into the trenches sometimes and, like, just kind of wear that cloak of, right? Like,
Yeah.
nothing feels good. You just want to complain. We know. However, we also know that there are tools and there are ways, and there's always choice to really reclaiming what this life gets to be for you. And I love the saying so much here, where your attention goes, energy flows. This is proven both in science, in metaphysics, and in the mystical world, right? Like, this doesn't have to be, you can take this any which way. For my fellow energy, spiritual woo sisters, like, you've heard that a bazillion times. And also, for my hardcore science factually based girlfriends, like, it is truth. It's scientific truth. So let's talk about things, because if it's true that where your attention goes, energy flows, then what that's ultimately saying is that if you are focusing your attention on how bad life sucks, life will continue to suck.
Yeah.
If life is feeling pretty hard and heavy, but you make the divine choice to shift your focus, shift your attention to something that feels better, then you're going to call in more situations that feel better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything
And
to add to that, Bonnie?
I think that this is, it's more powerful than what we actually can describe to you.
Yes.
Okay. It's
of course.
more powerful than what we can actually describe to you. So when we're saying this, we don't want it just to be lip service. We really want you to embody these concepts. So if you're, Henry Ford even said it, whether you think you can, you can't, either way, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your focus is, whatever you're focusing on, wherever your attention is, that is going to be the experience you have, you witness. It's what you, opportunities you'll notice or not notice. It is going to allow you to feel good or not feel good. All of these things are interconnected. And so if you truly want to get out of that place of suckiness, of getting out of this place of waking up and feeling miserable, feeling stuck, it starts with that inner work. It starts with shifting the focus so that you can have a different experience or a different opportunity to experience something differently.
Yes, 100%. And so this is step one in how to kind of reclaim your life when it's feeling really tough, is shift your focus.
Yeah.
And do so in that way where you're feeling it, where you're able to embody it. We want to also note here that it is really difficult to go from mind in the gutter, like, life is terrible, I have been doing nothing but sobbing for weeks and weeks, to everything is rainbows and unicorns. Like, It's really, really hard to make that jump. And so what we want to present you with today is shift your focus. Doesn't mean like going from like pure horribleness to pure sunshine.
Yeah.
What it means is shifting it even a degree in the direction of what you want to feel. Yeah. And the easiest way for us to recommend to you to do that is to have an attitude of gratitude. And at the beginning, it can feel really hard to feel grateful for something when everything feels really hard. But if you are able, follow me here, if you're able to feel gratitude for things that are just a little less hard than what you've been experiencing, you don't have to jump to, oh my gosh, my life is so amazing, if it really doesn't feel amazing. But if you are willing to say, okay, I am grateful that, yesterday I woke up with a pounding headache and today it's gone. I still don't feel 100%, but today my headache's gone, right? So you're recognizing like the reality still doesn't feel all that great, but I am grateful that I am a little bit stronger than I was yesterday. That small shift in focus is going to be the thing that if you continue making those small shifts, it's going to get you to where you want to be, which is feeling better, which is maybe potentially in that rainbows and butterflies place. But this is not a flipping race, my my friends.
Yeah.
If you're feeling horrible, there is something to be said for recognizing and witnessing why and how. And there's also something to be said for saying, and I choose not to stay here for forever, but I'm going to give myself grace as I come out of this a little bit. Oftentimes we feel like we just want to rip the Band-Aid off. And while that would be nice, it often provides us with more resistance. And we don't believe that that really feel-good place is available for us because we've kind of tried too hard or tried to go too fast. So taking those micro steps toward feeling better through being grateful for anything is so powerful.
So good. And you keep saying one of the biggest words that I'm probably advocate for more than anything, and that's choice, is to really reclaim that power, your personal power. And we do that by just reminding ourselves of these 3 simple words. It's my choice. It's my choice to think, to feel, to respond, to react any way that I want. Now, in that, your brain, in the beginning, your brain might be working against you. Mm-hmm. So I'm one of the science nerds, right? So there is actual resistance that's going to emerge because of the way that your brain has wired itself.
Right.
So I want you guys to, I love analogies. I say this all the time, but one of the things that you recognize is that it's through our conscious choices that is going to allow the brain different opportunities to rewire itself. And it's through repetition that keeps that new wiring in place.
And let's just state this. If you've been thinking the same thought over and over and over for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 400 years, right? Like it's taken a long time to ingrain that in you. So we've got to work with that knowledge and say, okay, it's going to take me a little while to reprogram this, but I'm committed to it because I want to feel better. So I am committed to shifting my focus, even though I am so programmed against right now.
Yeah, it's going to be so strong, you guys. A good example of this is that if you've ever purchased a new vehicle or just whatever vehicle, if you're listening in your car right now, like just think of the vehicle that you have. I bet you notice a lot of that vehicle around, right? Yeah. But before you had that vehicle, unless you wanted it, but if you just didn't, I bet you never really noticed it.
Right.
So a good example is that this last year, or I guess it's been a few years now, I bought a new Lexus. And before that, I had a Prius, and I'm like, love the Prius. Like anybody who knows me, like I freaking love that car to pieces. Well, before I bought it, I never actually thought I wanted to buy one. And then before I bought it, I actually never noticed how many Priuses were on the road. Well, the first week I was in that car, it was like everybody on the moon and the planet and the world and the universe had bought this vehicle. And I was parking next to them, driving behind them, like every stoplight. They were just everywhere. But I didn't notice them before because my brain was dismissing them. It was just not registering that they were there. They were always there. But because it wasn't familiar to me, the brain didn't recognize it. So now that I have the new car, it's the same thing, right? I notice less Priuses. I'll still notice them because my brain's familiar with it still. But I guarantee you, I don't notice how many Ford Mustangs. I don't notice how many Dodge Rams. I don't notice how many other vehicles are on the road because the brain doesn't have the capacity to witness everything. So because it's limited, it has a limited range of processing ability, it's going to stick to what's familiar. So if thinking that you suck or that your life sucks or that everything sucks is familiar to you, guess what the only thing you're going to notice is more suckiness. So what we're saying here is shifting the focus and having patience with yourself is to recognize that your brain is conditioned to work against you, and it's going to take conscious choice to choose to see something different, to focus on something different, that is going to take effort because it's not natural in the beginning, to be able to start to feel and ultimately behave and witness differences.
Yeah.
So those are
beautifully said. Beautifully said. And I want to reinforce here the second point to this. So like what to do when your life sucks and you want to feel better. So we shift our focus, right? And we get to really recognize that we get to make the choice between looking at what's wrong and toward looking at what's right or what feels better. in the midst of all of this, though, we want to reiterate that you were looking at what didn't feel good for a reason. Like, there's actually a reason that you were staring at what didn't feel good, or there's a reason why things were not going your way. And we want to reiterate, and this is the second point in this, and this is like where we can take comfort, that there's a lesson in everything, right? And so it's our opportunity here to find the lesson. There was a time in 2000, oh gosh, what year was it? 2018 or 2019, which is not that far away. 2018, where I went through a month and I just felt awful. I felt so like crummy. I felt like my baseline was just bleh. Like, I just was angry. I had just yuckiness, like just a yucky aura about me. And what I discovered was that I was waiting for a reason to celebrate instead of celebrating on purpose. And so when I had that discovery, that helped me to shift my focus from, I don't have to wait for a rainbow to fall down from the sky. I can dance in the rain if I want to. I get to choose to create that moment to celebrate. The lesson in all of that was something that I'm so grateful for. There were two things that popped up for me. Number one is that anger actually is a huge blessing for me, because when I'm feeling angry, because I have really worked very hard throughout the majority of my life to live a life with a standard of joy and to have that higher vibrational presence in being, when I'm feeling angry, then I celebrate it now, because it's telling me that I'm not doing something that I truly want to do, and I'm not celebrating on purpose. And the other thing that came up for me at that time was that gets to be a moment of recalibration for me. So that in itself is celebration. So not only during this time period did I discover that, okay, I'm feeling angry, I want to shift my focus, so I get to celebrate on purpose. But now I know, for future reference, and we've talked about this in past podcasts as well, that we get to go back into our history, friends, and find evidence as to what's going to serve us going forward. Now I know that if I'm feeling angry or if I'm feeling wonky, it's something worth celebrating, because I just know that I'm off and I get to recalibrate. It sounds so counterintuitive, but being able to take a feeling like anger and turning it into a win, because when I'm feeling angry, I know, like, okay, that's the white flag. Like, I'm done playing this game. It's time to bring in the joy again. Then I've learned the lesson of the moment, and I get to shift and recalibrate. So that's really powerful just to mention. And there's an old saying, difficulties aren't meant to destroy us. Rather, they're there to show us our potential, right? And so it's in that moment when we choose, in that moment that I chose to celebrate over continue feeling angry, I got to see that my potential actually lies in the celebration and not in the anger-ridden moment.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Every one of you who's listening to this has untapped potential.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your willingness to ride out the storms, to go through those difficulties, that allows you to tap into that untouched potential.
Yeah.
But so many of us, consciously, unconsciously, whether it is fear or whether it's our insecurities, whether it's our experiences, whether it's our self-proclaimed limitations, keeps us in this very mediocre, this very I'm fine, this very it's okay, stuck place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what creates misery, because deep down inside, you know that you are capable of doing and having and being more than what you're currently experiencing. And this is really when we say, it's like, even when your life sucks, it's a big part of it is that we get stuck in these ideas that, okay, well, this is the way it is, and it's the way it's always going to be, and I'm just going to stay in this. We forget to remind ourselves that, hey, this is just a experience. It is temporary. And that if I really want to live this extraordinary life, it does mean rocking the boat.
Yeah.
It does mean that I have to challenge the status quo, which means that you are pushing up against like mediocrity, normalism, right? I don't even know if that's a word. I might have made that up.
It's okay. That's what we do. Our listeners will come to discover our favorite thing to do is make up words.
Normalism. I don't know if that's a word. My point is, though, is that it's just embrace this difficultness, right? Embrace the suck is, I think, is actually one of the mantras for the Marines. And it's this idea that sometimes you have to do things that are really challenging. You experience things that are really challenging and they suck. Now, if you don't embrace the idea that they're temporary, if you don't find the lesson, if you don't shift your focus, then that crumminess can be prolonged. And for some of us, indefinitely.
Yeah.
Because we get paralyzed, we avoid, we procrastinate. We then decide, whether consciously or unconsciously, that this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
And we let go of our dreams, ambitions, and desires.
Yeah. And so, Bonnie, you nailed it on the third point here. It's recognizing that this moment is temporary.
Yeah.
It's temporary. It doesn't have to be forever. And if we go back to that key opportunity for us of choice, then we get to steady the ship at any point in time. We get to live the life that we actually want to live, which begs a deeper question of what do you want, right? Because sometimes things really suck because we're just not willing to ask or answer, well, what is it that I actually want right now? Right during that time period where I just felt angry for like a solid month. It was in August. It was, I don't know why I remember it like I do. I just do. That whole month I just felt really yucky. And the point was, I wasn't actually asking myself what I wanted in order to help alleviate that feeling for me. I was just sitting in the perpetual feeling of, well, it sucks and things just really feel rocky right now. Like, and I could have continued beating that drum for a very, very, very long time, but I didn't want to anymore.
Yeah.
And so being willing to ask yourself, well, okay, if this moment is temporary and it doesn't feel good, then what do I want instead? And that is where we reclaim our power. That's where we can tap into our passion, right? Because the word want really indicates and invites into the conversation, well, what do I feel passionate about? What lights my fire? If this feeling of being dull and sucky and angry is not my jam, then what is it that I want? What feels more passionate than that? And then you can powerfully step into the role that you want to play. And hopefully that role is the truth of you, because the truth of you is affiliated with love. It's affiliated with fun and with celebration and with choosing the higher level of focus and energy that you want to feel. And you get to do that by just witnessing all of these steps, shifting your focus, finding the lesson, recognizing that the moment is temporary, and then being willing to ask what you want so that you can feel better. You can do what you want.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Does that not sound empowering? I mean,
It's
sisters.
amazing. Like, and I love when we have these conversations that remind us and remind our listeners that, you know, it's not easy work. Sometimes it takes a lot of deep work, but actually the timeline and the steps to getting from point A to B are simple. Maybe not easy, but they're simple. And if we allow ourselves, and Bonnie, you and I for this year, we're like, we choose ease, we choose simplicity. So if we allow ourselves to just focus on the simple, bare bones steps of the process of feeling better, oftentimes it's going to happen more quickly than if we want to put on this big pomp and circumstance event to, I feel horrible and I want to feel better, right? Like sometimes it's just getting real, getting quiet, and allowing yourself to focus on what you want rather than focus on the suck of present day.
Yeah, that's amazing. And hopefully you feel inspired by this as well as you're listening. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are and like what your shifts are. Like, what are you shifting into? You can share with us on Instagram. We've got all those links in the show notes here, or you could even join us over on Facebook in our Rebels for Joy community. If you just look for groups, Rebels for Joy, we're the only one. Come and find us. Come be a part of the sisterhood. Start using your voice, because you matter. Your opinions matter, your life matters, your circumstances matter, your situations matter. And we are here to foster these conversations. We are here to help you guide the way for you to unhook from all of these belief systems, these thought patterns, these limitations that are keeping you from greatness.
Yeah.
and allow you the chance to fully shine in the brightest, truest, most brilliant version of you imaginable.
It's such an honor, sister. Thank you for being here. Share this episode with a friend if you feel like it will be helpful to her, and we will see you next time.
Yes, thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe as well as review our podcast. Each one of those helps us tremendously. Talk to you soon. Bye, girls.
Bye.
Mwah.